Hey, welcome to Ultimate Survival Tips. I'm David, coming to you from my glorious hillside retreat in the beautiful Endless Mountains of north central Pennsylvania. Just happy to be vertical today after fighting an evil cold that had me on my back for nearly a week. Well, I'm really excited because we're going to take a look at our first survival knife from the Schrade Extreme Survival line of knives, the SCHF9. We'll take this knife out back and see how it stands up to some basic bushcraft and look at it from every angle. Then I'll show you how to turn this knife and sheath into one of the best survival knife packages on the planet by adding a few pieces of gear. And before we're all done, I'll talk about who this knife's for and who should consider a different knife. Okay, let's jump in. Well, a few months ago, one of our YouTube subscribers contacted me and said that he found the real ultimate survival knife and encouraged me to review the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife. Honestly, I was very skeptical and about ignored his request. And shortly after this, I received several more requests for me to review this knife, so I decided to take a look. Well, the knife arrived and I took it out of its sheath, and my first impression was a mix of surprise and disbelief. I pretty much just smiled and waved the knife around in my hand for a while, trying to figure out how in the world Schrade was able to put together such a formidable survival knife package for such a crazy low street price. And honestly, I just wanted to hang it from my belt, strap it to my leg, and go out and play in the woods. Well, I've been checking out this knife now for several weeks, and my initial enthusiasm hasn't changed. So the Schrade Extreme Survival SCHF9 is a fixed blade knife that has a fine edge, which means there's no serrations on this blade at all. SCHF9 is one of three primary designs from the current Schrade Extreme Survival lineup of knives. The other two designs are the equally rugged, woodsy looking SCHF3 that comes in a fine and serrated edge version, and the intriguing military styled SCHF2, which is made of one solid piece of steel including a waterproof barrel handle that can hold a nice bit of survival gear. The Extreme Survival SCHF9 has a 6.4-inch blade, a 5.7-inch handle, and a total length of just over a foot at around 31 centimeters. The knife weighs nearly a pound at 15.9 ounces, so this is a really hefty knife compared to the Grylls Ultimate Survival Knife at 8.1 ounces, the SOG SEAL Team Elite at 10.4 ounces, and the Gerber LMF II at 11.5 ounces. Okay, well let's talk about the blade a little bit. The blade of this Schrade Extreme Survival Knife is full tang construction, which means the blade steel runs the entire length of the knife from tip to butt and is considered the strongest knife construction technique by experts. See? The Schrade Extreme Survival Knife is made of 1095 high carbon steel. 1095 steel is a favorite of many knife lovers because it's not too expensive, it's pretty tough, and holds an edge very well. 1095 steel also sharpens to an edge that's great for all-around cutting, slicing, and chopping. Now 1095 is not a stainless steel, so you'll want to wipe the blade edge with mineral oil now and again to prevent oxidation. Mineral oil works great because it's cheap, easy to get, and safe if you want to chop up some food with your knife while you're in the woods. The entire blade is covered in a very durable, almost gunmetal gray anti-reflective coating that's designed to protect the blade from corrosion. It's done a really great job resisting dings and scrapes over the last couple of weeks of use. Now check this out. This blade is a beast at a 1/4 inch wide, which made me not very shy to twist and turn this knife while it was well sunk into logs in my bushcraft tests. Okay, see the difference in width compared to the Grylls Ultimate Survival Knife? Now next, this knife has a drop point blade profile. You can usually tell a drop point blade because the spine of the blade drops slightly toward the point. Drop point blades make for really strong blade tips and are great for multi-purpose survival knives like this one. Okay, now look at the edge profile. See how the blade widens just before it curves up to make the tip? I'm not sure what the intent was here, but I have found that the slight concave edge toward the handle seems to make carving sticks and bark skinning a little bit easier. And the geometry of this knife combined with its mass and the deep flat grind of the edge seems to provide a bit more power when chopping than any of the other knives we've tested so far. Now of course a knife is never going to replace a hatchet or an axe, but it's great to know that if you only have this knife with you in the field, you can cut and split wood quite nicely. See how it kicks out a nice chunk of wood with just about every stroke? Now one more thing about the point. See how the spine edges converge right at the tip to make the point? This stout point design almost ensures that your tip is not going to bust even if you have to pry or dig with it. But the downside is a point like this is not going to be good for tactical or combat functions such as piercing, which is something knives like the SOG SEAL Team Elite are designed for. See the difference? Now let's talk about the handle. At the bottom of the blade steel toward the handle, we have a concave cutout for the forefinger. This cutout helps to provide more leverage and control for slicing and carving. There's a corresponding cutout on the spine towards the handle for my thumb to rest, which feels very comfortable. Now another great purpose for this cutout area is that it's a great place to strike your fire steel. Here I am using the SOG Combo fire steel and sharpening tool and this knife to start a little blaze. Okay, now the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife has one TPE handle grip on each side of the knife steel. These grips are securely fastened to the knife using 4 rounded and recessed bolts. TPE stands for thermoplastic elastomers, which are a mix of plastic and rubber. Handles made of TPE enjoy the advantages of both plastic and rubber materials. In the case of this handle, it's both tough and resistant to wear, while being very grippy, comfortable, and shock absorbent. This handle's grip is enhanced even more through this raised pattern of concentric circles, which makes it very grippy, even when it's soaked. Now this is a hefty and meaty handle that widens to nearly 1.25 inches to fit nicely in my palm, and it narrows towards the front and the back to fit very naturally as I wrap my hand around it. See? Now there's 5 notches in the blade steel spine side of the handle toward the blade that provide some additional grip for my thumb. On the bottom of the handle there are 3 generous finger cutouts that keep my hand firmly locked onto the knife. This is one knife that those with small, medium, and large hands should find comfortable to use, even for extended periods, due to the excellent forethought that was put into its design. Now at the butt end of the knife, the handle flares and curves, so you can wrap your thumb and forefinger firmly around the very bottom of the handle for chopping and splitting. And we also have this nice sized lanyard hole. Oh, and one more thing. Although there's not a pommel on the butt end of this handle, the blade still is flush with the grip and could certainly be used to crush or break things in a pinch. The Schrade Extreme Survival Knife is well balanced with a center of gravity right about where my forefinger naturally wraps around the handle. This makes the knife pretty agile in my hand, even for its weight. Now I know that several of you guys have told me that you would never throw your survival knife, but I have a general theory that a well-balanced survival knife can also be thrown well. So I can't resist taking the Extreme Survival Knife out to the range and giving it a few tosses. Let's go see how it does. So here I am using a no-spin throwing technique with the Extreme Survival Knife. As you can see, this knife throws quite well considering its size and mass really cause it to sink deep into the wood. In a life and death situation, hopefully with a backup knife on me, I wouldn't hesitate to throw this knife if I needed to. Okay, now let's talk about the sheath. The Schrade Extreme Survival Knife Sheath has a tactical look and is made out of a good quality black nylon that's double stitched in most places, which is really good. It has this heavy duty plastic liner that the knife fits snugly into. Plastic liner is designed for the knife to be placed in the sheath for right hand carry only. The knife secures in the sheath through the use of this adjustable strap with snap closure system. As you've heard in my other reviews, I really like snaps opposed to Velcro closure systems, so Schrade really did a nice job with this sheath. Now the sheath easily straps to just about any belt, up to about 2 inches wide, and uses this flip and tuck belt strap system to attach to your belt without taking it off, which is kinda cool. Next we have this interesting little removable pouch on the front of the sheath. This pouch secures to the sheath with the use of 2 straps that wrap around the back. Oh, and this pouch and sheath strap system on the back also give the sheath the ability to attach to a MOLLE vest or pack. So to remove the pouch, we simply lift this strap with a snap, undo these 2 hook and loop Velcro type straps, and separate the back of the pouch from the front of the sheath. See? This little pouch also has a loop on its back to enable belt carry, which is a cool option. Okay, being naturally curious, I wondered how much survival gear I could fit in this sheath pouch to round out this knife and make it into an even more helpful survival system. So to start, I knew I wanted a knife sharpener, fire steel, and a small LED light, and maybe even a multi-tool. Anything beyond this to me was a bonus. So here's what I came up with. The SOG Firestarter Sharpener, the Grylls Compact Multi-Tool, which is actually a redesign of the popular Clutch multi-tool, the Grylls Micro Torch, the Grylls Priorities of Survival Pocket Guide, and in a small Ziploc bag I fit a small sewing kit, a small pack of fishing hooks, line, and sinkers, a small roll of wire and a wax string for snares and traps, a small wad of tinder, and 2 waterproof matches and striker paper just in case. I bundled them up tightly and fit them neatly into the sheath pouch. Now with these in the pouch, I think we just might have a new ultimate survival knife kit. Okay, because I know you're curious too, I've included links to all the gear that I stuffed into this pouch in the video description on YouTube. Now let's check out owner comments. Owners tend to really love this knife and go on and on about the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife being a sharp, heavy-duty workhorse of a knife, and the ratings usually average well over 4 out of 5 stars. Some comment on the blade edge not being perfect and some minor imperfections here and there where the handle grip meets the blade steel. But nearly everyone seems to love the 1/4 inch thick 1095 steel for its toughness and blade holding ability. Many comment on the knife's ability to chop and baton well. Everyone loves the ridiculous low price of this knife. Many even say that they bought 2 knives for the price that they would have paid for just 1 knife before they found the Extreme Survival Knife. Now we rate the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife at a rare 5 out of 5 stars for its design, fit and finish, heavy duty build, tough edge holding blade, comfortable handle, versatile sheath, its usefulness in the field, and we were really pushed over the edge by its crazy low online street price of under $40. We almost took off half a star because the blade's not stainless steel, but the blade strength, edge holding ability of the steel, tough protective coating, design, fit and finish, and everything else for the price is so amazing, we were really compelled to give this knife 5 out of 5 stars. So who's this knife for? The Schrade Extreme Survival Knife is an excellent tool for camping, hunting, backpacking, bushcraft, extreme adventures, safaris, bug-out bags, and emergency kits. If you want a knife for diving or outdoor activities like canoe camping, where there's a good chance that your knife's going to be wet for extended periods of time, look elsewhere. Although the 1095 high-carbon steel that's used in this knife can be maintained in wet situations, you may want the luxury of having a knife that's made of a quality stainless steel. So see my reviews of the SOG Force, the SOG SEAL Team Elite, or the Gerber LMF II. Or if you really like this knife design and price point, check out the Schrade Extreme Survival SCHF3, since it's very similar in design to the SCHF9 and is made out of stainless steel. If you want a survival knife with the added cutting power of serrations, you might want to check out the Schrade Extreme Survival SCHF3 or the SCHF2, which both come in fine and partially serrated versions. If you want a more tactical or combat survival knife, check out my reviews of the Gerber LMF II, the SOG SEAL Team Elite, the Cold Steel SRK, the Schrade SCHF2, the Gerber Prodigy, or the Gerber LHR. But if you want a reliable, versatile, heavy-duty survival knife that will stand up to hard use when you need it most, and $39 sounds pretty good to you, the Schrade Extreme Survival Blade may be your ultimate survival knife. So we've just taken a look at the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife. For your convenience, I've included links to all the gear and knives that I've mentioned in the video description on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, news, and occasional gear giveaway contests, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our free survival e-mag for monthly updates and links to the new survival tips and gear reviews that we post on the website. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.